Hi, and welcome to part 2 of my Halloween reading recommendations for scaredy cats. I hope that you've been enjoying the confusing thing that is the length of my hair at the moment, as it must be going back between long and short. Anyways, moving on. So today I have a bunch of books for you that are creepy and eerie, and they all have something magical or supernatural attached to them as well. I'm going to start with a picture book that was recommended to me by a colleague a couple of years ago and haven't revisited it since, so I'd like to reread it, but it's definitely one that works for adults as well. And it is called Duck, Death, and the Tulip, so from the title you can probably figure out why it's appropriate for Halloween. This is an example of what one of the pages looks like. The illustrations are really pretty. I feel like I should do a story time and read you the first page. For a while now, Duck had had a feeling. "Who are you? What are you up to, creeping along behind me?" "Good," said Death. "You finally noticed me. I am Death." It's really beautiful, really lovely. Look at that, but kind of creepy. So perfect for Halloween. Next up is one that is published by Penguin, so I'd heard lots about it at work, but I hadn't had a chance to read it yet, and then I recently did, and I freaking love it. It is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. Beware the evil in the woods. The best way to describe this book is that it feels like a Russian folktale, but it is really scratching that itch that I had for a book with a sort of medieval setting with a rebellious teenage girl. It's definitely in there because in this forest is dark and creepy, and one of the things is that the main character, Vasha, can actually talk to ancient sort of house and forest spirits that have been there, that people have been leaving bread and milk in the corner for, that are there to protect their house. And in the beginning you sort of think that that is as spooky and magical as it's going to get, but oh no, it gets scarier. The writing is so vibrant and beautiful, and there's a second book that's coming out soon which I will definitely be picking up. There's a priest who is sent from Moscow and who is like a bit of an evil character, struggles with his temptations. There's lots of horseback riding and snow and huddling together while it's cold in the winter, so this is a really good atmospheric Halloween read. Then there's a graphic novel I read this year and loved, and this is quite creepy. It is The Spill Zone by Scott Westerfeld. It looks like that, and I've talked about it quite recently, so you might already be familiar with this, but it is the first in a series, and it's about a girl who lives just outside of a city with her younger sister, and something happened in that city which made people evacuate, and they do not go back there. You're not allowed to go back there. Something terrifying has happened. But she goes in there on her motorcycle and takes pictures and then sells them for lots of money. And it's mostly the stuff that you see in there, like in that city, that's really disturbing. Look at that. Look at that wolf with its like intestines coming out. Kind of creepy. But if you like apocalyptic dystopian stuff and really cool main characters, check this out. I always want to talk about Through the Woods, which is the poster of the book cover is over there, but I think that one is too scary, and I've already talked about it loads of times as well, so I went for The Spill Zone this time. Then there's one that I didn't know if I should put it in here because I think it is too scary to be a Halloween read for scaredy cats, but it is brand new and I had just read it, so I figured I should talk about it. And it is Grave Matter by Juno Dawson, about a boy whose girlfriend passed away in a car accident, and he is so struck by grief that he wants to do anything to get her back. So he goes to visit his aunt who has some experience with the supernatural, and things only go down from there, and you might be able to see like the tombstone and the ghostly apparition behind it and sort of figure out what is going on. If you like sort of Tim Burton stuff, you might really like this. More Tim Burton related things later, but this does have some really like mega gory bits in it. There were 1 or 2 pages I needed to skip potentially. Also, this is published by Barrington Stoke, and on the back it says super readable YA, and what they do is they focus on publishing books that are sort of more accessible to read for people who have difficulty reading. You can also kind of see it from the way it's printed, so there's like a lot more spacing between the lines and the font's a little bit bigger, so that is really cool about this one as well. There's also some illustrations inside by Alex T. Smith, and they're really beautiful and scary. This one has a lot of good memories attached to it because it's one of the first books I ever worked on in my first publishing job, and it is Heap House by Edward Carey. It is both written and illustrated by the author, and he is absolutely fantastic. His drawings are so creepy. There's a beautiful map of the house in the front, and then throughout the book, let's see if I can find a good one. Oh, that one's good. Throughout the book there's all these terrifying illustrations as well. And I remember always pitching this as a series of unfortunate events meets Downton Abbey meets Tim Burton. It's about a family called the Ironmonger family, and they live in Heap House on basically what is like the trash mountain of London, or as it's called, London. And they each have an item that is given to them when they're born, and sometimes it's a very small item and sometimes it's a massive piece of furniture, so they can't go very far. But one of the characters in the family can hear the objects talking, which you're not supposed to, and then some of the objects go missing. It's a trilogy, and I think it's one of those books where, like, if the cover appeals to you, you know that this one is for you. And then finally, there is one that I'm reading at the moment, and it is Jan Campbell's new book. I think it is about to come out when this video goes up. There's like a couple of days left before it comes out. But it is The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night, and these are sort of fairy tale inspired tales, but they're creepy and supernatural, and Jen is just an amazing writer. Stories of family and magic, lost souls and superstition, spirits in jam jars, mini apocalypses, animal hearts, and sideshows. And that is my final recommendation. So yes, this video and then the one that I made about sort of more realistic Halloween reads together should hopefully provide you with plenty of creepy books to read for Halloween, but also for, you know, the rest of the year. One of the great things about videos like this is they will stay relevant year by year. I did Halloween videos last year. If you want more recommendations, I'll put those in the description. I also wanted to give you a little reminder that the End of the World book club book for November is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. If you haven't heard of this book club, it's basically an online book club where I post a video every month about a different dystopian or apocalyptic book, because I love those, and we can have a chat around it. You can read along, you can use the hashtag, post on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever you'd like. So if you want to read along for November, this is the one. Alright, that is all for me. I will put yesterday's video in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Doei!